Deportiva y con swing.
Deportiva y con swing.
La factoría del deporte desde New York para ti. Es una máquina.
Es una máquina
Pensada para ti.
pensada para ti. Número uno en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Con informaciones importantes siempre frescas.
Y con entrevistas que te ponen de cabeza.
Lo mejor del deporte lo encontrarás aquí.
Búscale en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Suscríbete,
Ay sí,
infórmate.
ok. Dale a la campana para que te llegue.
Can you just go over that at bat? And secondly, can you talk about Devers? How has he impressed you all season?
First off, that at bat, runners in the corners, 1 out, series winning run at third base. So I was about to walk to the plate. They called Christian back to the dugout, and they brought in Danny, and that took a little bit of the pressure off because obviously there are different types of runners, and at the time I was like, a homer scores Christian. No, it went from having to get a hit or feeling like I have to get a hit, obviously because their outfield throws pretty well, especially their center fielder and right fielder, and then having the faster runner at third base kind of took the pressure off. Obviously I don't have to do that much. I just have to get a pitch where I can hit a fly ball and score them, not trying to do too much, and I'm glad I was able to get that pitch, and I'm glad I was able to get the job done. And your other question, Rafi, when I signed here and I looked at the roster and I started looking at their pages and their profiles as far as like whatever their stats, and I was beyond impressed with our third base side of our infield. I was like, how come nobody talks more about these two guys? Like, these numbers are ridiculous. Like, nobody's talking about them. And being in the National League, especially in the West Coast, you never get to see them play or really pay attention to what's going on in the American League. And I knew they were good players, but I didn't know they were that good. And spring training was a pleasure to watch those two guys. In the batter's box, they're as dangerous as they get, and it was fun seeing them how they prepared and how they went about their business, and getting to know them was a pleasure, and getting to see Rafi for 162 was special. And then people are talking about what's going on with him and his health and all this, but he keeps finding a way to get the job done, and he came up huge for us tonight, and I'm glad he had the night he had.
Tyler in the fourth row.
TK, this team had a really, really tough year last year in the 60-game season. What was it, besides the chance to play every day, that made you think that you could win here, that attracted you to Boston?
I looked at the roster, man, and to be honest, as far as position players, the pitching staff was like, it took some time to get developed. As far as like, we brought in some pieces, and there were some guys that I didn't know, obviously, because playing in the other league. But when you look at the roster and you see Rafael Devers, and like I started looking at their stats and stuff, and I was like Xander Bogaerts and first base, and I started looking about Bobby Dahlbeck and everybody talking about what his potential was like. And then I've known Christian. I played with Christian when I was 7 years old in Puerto Rico. He's a year older than me, and we played the same category, and he was a year older than me, obviously, but we were on the same team. And he's always been a stud ever since we were that old, that young. He's always been a stud. And then obviously I played with Doogie for a few years in LA, and I played against Renfroe for a few years when he was with the Padres, and I was like, man, like, I don't understand why people are talking about this team like, we're the worst team in that division or whatever. And I was like, this is a solid squad. They won the World Series a few years ago. They know what it takes to win. Like, it's not like it's a scrappy roster or anything. It's a good roster. I played with Nate in Miami, and obviously I saw what Nate did in the playoffs in 2018, and obviously saw it firsthand when he pitched against us. I knew that we had a really solid team, and the same thing I said in spring training. nothing has changed. I thought that all we needed to do was survive till we got Sale back, and then we would become a really dangerous team. And that's basically what we did. And then there were some guys that I didn't know that came through, and we have a team with a bunch of really, really good baseball players that know how to play the game. And I mean, here we are surprising everybody but ourselves. We knew in spring training we had the team to make it this far, and here we are.
Second row on your right. Kike, before the series started, someone asked you about being about wanting to be up. You talked about wanting to be up in those situations. Can you kind of go through in your mind at the start of that inning what you're thinking about counting the batters and what situation you might be in, and how much has the success that you've had in this series make you that much more confident to come up in that spot?
So I had the chance to win the game last night, and I didn't do it. And I was thinking walking to the plate, I was like, I'm about to finish this game. This was last night, and I was like, and the way that things were going at the time, I was like, I'm about to make this place my place. That's my me talking to myself to like pump me up, to like get my confidence up, and like to keep things under control. And I didn't get it done last night, and we won the game. Christian came through. And tonight I knew that I was up fourth in the inning, and I knew that if I was going to get up to the plate, it was going to be with runners on, obviously, because if there's nobody on, it meant that somebody had hit a homer or something, and we won the game. So, jogging from center field to the dugout, I jogged a little slower than I usually do, because I usually get on the field and off the field pretty quick, because I just want to get there and get out. Turn the page. We're offense. Turn the page. We're on defense now. And I was just talking to myself. I was like, all right, this is our chance. If you get up to the plate, you're gonna have a chance to win the game, and you cannot let this situation get too big. And you're about to win this game, so you need to work on like slowing everything down and slowing your breathing down and slowing the game down, and starting early and making sure that you see the pitch and you're not just swinging out of your shoes for no reason, for trying to be a hero. And the situation, the way that inning developed, Christian, he at the beginning of the at-bat, didn't seem like he had a chance, and then he started battling and he won the at-bat. And then Arroyo, I don't know if that was the first bunt of the year, but man, that was a hell of a bunt. And then T. Shaw put up a battle up there, and never thought. I told him a few minutes ago. I was like, I never thought that your speed was the one that's going to win us this series. And for him to grind that at bat out, and then some people when they come off the bench in a big situation and they hit the ball with the quality of contact that he did, they kind of get upset or whatnot, and then not run hard down the line. And he didn't do that. He capped it, and he just busted his ass to first base, and the throw happened, and he beat the throw, and on the first pitch he took second, which even took my pressure off a little bit, because I was like, man, if I hit a hard ground ball, like, there's a chance that they can turn two and inning's over. And he got on second base after the first pitch, which I swung at a pitch that might have been over my head. I don't know. It felt really high, and I was like, what are you doing? But he went on second base, and I was like, all right, now you really got to slow this down, because it just got a little bit easier. And I was able to get the pitch that allowed me to hit a fly ball to left, and I'm glad I hit it to their weakest arm in the outfield.
Ian up front, then Chad.
Kike, after they scored the 5, to tie it up, how much did Garrett kind of just swing the momentum back in your guys' favor? Just how impressed are you just by what he's done, not just tonight, but all year?
Man, I mean, at the beginning of the year, people still call him the secret weapon. I mean, it's no secret anymore. Garrett Whitlock is legit. I mean, that is an electric arm with 3+ pitches, and at his age, with his experience coming into the year, it's not every day that a Rule 5 draft pick gets to close out a walk-off game and then win a game that wins not just a division series, but a playoff series. You don't see that every day, and his composure, his stuff, the way he prepares, the way he goes about his business, you know, is as professional as it gets. And the only time that you remember that Whitlock is a rookie is when he comes and asks you a question where, you know, it's a question that a younger guy would ask, and it's like, dang, it seems it's so easy to forget that he's this young and that he has this amount of experience, because he just gets the job done day in and day out, and it never seems like the situation's too big or the game speeds up on him. It's just he stays under control, and he's got a great right arm, and I mean, I'm glad he's on our side and not on the other guy's side. And so Garrett Whitlock's been a huge piece for us this year and for years to come.
Near the back on the left, Chad.
Kike, picking up what you said, wanting to make this place yours, how would you put into words having back-to-back walk-off wins, back-to-back nights as a Red Sox in front of these fans in Boston?
This place is special, and I'm glad it took this long for me to realize that, because at the beginning of the year, it just, you know, I had played here 2 series. I mean, I played here the World Series for the first time in my career, and then in 19, we started the second half. I think we started the second half here. And, you know, when you're on the road, you don't really realize, like, unless the place is, like, crazy loud or whatever, you don't really realize how loud it is. And when we came here in the World Series, like, things did not go our way, the 2 games that we played here. And, like, I didn't even have time to like, think about how loud this place was. Mainly because it was way too cold. I was like, oh my goodness, we just went from like 80-degree weather to like 30-degree weather, because those 2 games here were freezing. So I never really had time to think about it. And then 19, the team wasn't playing that great. So like, and we won that series. So we never allowed them to get that loud. And it was, I don't even remember when it was that we got 100% capacity back. But like, once we got that 100% capacity back, like, you just felt it, you know. You just couldn't wait for 7-10 to come to like get going and start a game, especially when we play better teams. And this place gets rocking, man. This place gets rocking, and this place is a lot of fun to play in, and not that fun to play in when you're a road team, and that gives us a little bit of an advantage. And I'm glad I'm wearing white when we play here.
2 more quick ones, Chad and then Emma.
You guys, you're using a lineup that you haven't used all year. The pitching staff's obviously being used differently. You're bunting. We talked about that. I mean, just Alex manages so much differently in October, but his teams this year and a couple years ago seem to respond to that. I wonder if you don't feel why that is. Why is it's so much different, but you guys are kind of playing your best right now?
Man, it's October. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. All that matters is get that W. And I mean, you've seen it. Like, all the starters, if they're not starting that game, they got cleats on and they're in the bullpen and they're ready to go. And like, that's our mentality, and that's the mentality that good teams have, and that's what it takes to win. Like, whatever it takes to win, and like, when you have that mentality, good things tend to happen. And I mean, that's our motto right now. Whatever it takes to win, and just win today, and we'll worry about tomorrow. And I mean, lineup, bullpen, starting rotation, like, it doesn't matter. We're a team, and we're one. We're not 26 dudes. We're just one. We're one. We're collective, and you know, when things don't go our way, we're gonna pick each other up, and when things go our way, we're gonna hype each other up to make ourselves feel good, and make that really good confidence, good field last longer. And I mean, we're playing really good baseball right now, and that's all that matters. We've celebrated, quote unquote, 3 times, and we're looking forward to celebrating 2 more times.
We'll finish with Emma in the back left.
Kike, what does it mean to be where you are as a team right now, and to have had the season you've had individually, after being given an opportunity to show what you can do as an everyday starting player, and just to show what you can do when you can play every day?
First question, I mean, feels great. I mean, no lie, it feels great. I mean, going into spring training, we would always say that, you know, we have the team to get to October, to get deep into October, and people would kind of like look at us through Zoom. Obviously, would look at us like we're crazy, and you know, we didn't really cared what people outside our clubhouse thought about us as a team, and we knew what we had in our hands, and it was a matter of us taking care of business, about controlling what you can control. And the season was one giant roller coaster, but it was a fun roller coaster, even when times weren't that fun. And we had first place for a long time, and then we started playing not so great, and then Tampa took over first place, and then they took off, and we started playing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and people are like, oh, real Red Sox are showing their true colors or whatever, and we just didn't care. We knew that a 162 game season, it was about ups and downs, and it was about not riding the highs too high and the lows too low. And I think we did a heck of a job not letting the struggles get to us, and just keeping our head up and looking forward. If we didn't win today, we were looking forward to tomorrow, and so on. And we were able to come into the last 3 games of the season that mattered, and we took care of business. Even it was a really fun series. It felt like a playoff series, even though the other team didn't even have a winning record, but they played like a playoff team at the time, and we took care of business. And then going into the Yankees Walker game, it was fun. It was loud here. It was electric. And going into Tampa game 1, it was kind of like we got punched in the gut, and it was a matter of are we going to turn the page, or are we going to just feel sorry for ourselves? And that's how teams get swept. And we did a great job at turning the page and winning the next 3. And for me personally, free agency, main priority was finding a place where I could play every day, but I didn't want the easy way, playing every day. I didn't just want to play every day to play every day in the big leagues. I wanted to play every day where it mattered. And I told my mom, I was like, yeah, there's nothing that compares to winning the World Series, but I want to go somewhere where I can win the World Series and be in that starting lineup every day. And it feels like I'm a little bit more important piece than just one more guy on that team. And Boston ended up being the greatest of fits, and I don't regret that decision one bit.
We'll push up to Tyler in the aisle there.
Just Kevin Cash was saying that we just were not able to create that swing and miss that we did so well during the regular season. He said it was just a relentless lineup, the constant pressure. I mean, that is a good pitching staff over there. How were you able to make contact as much and have those at-bats, and how big a factor was that in the series for you?
I think the biggest difference between this series, or game 2, 3, 4, and the regular season, was that we knew it would take a collective 1 through 9 to get the job done. In this regular season, it felt like we had a really talented lineup, and it was just a matter of getting big hits and all that, and getting hot or whatever. But everybody had an individual approach, and it was different. And we just, going down the series 1-0, it was just we need to find a way to have a 1 through 9 approach. We need to have a team approach, and we need to all get on the same page and do the same thing and attack the same way. And that's kind of what we did. And playoff baseball, sometimes if you don't let the moment get too big, it kind of brings the best out of people. And we were able to lock it in and make better decisions at the pitches that we wanted to swing at, we wanted to attack, the zones that we wanted to attack. And it started off with game 2 and kind of went on the next 2 games. And we did a great job as an offense, but our pitching kept us in the game every game. And if it wasn't for pitching, this series would have looked a lot different. So, hats off to tip of my cap to those guys. Kept us in the game at times. And when the other games, when tonight, when we were up 5 and we gave up that lead, it was time to lock it in, and they kept them there. They didn't, it was on us to not add on and tally onto that lead. And we gave it up. So what? Let's keep them there now and just give ourselves a chance to win this ball game, and that's what they did. And the rest is history.
Chino aguacate, Hawái, estamos en la máquina deportiva. Los Yankees no van para ningún lado. No, I don't like Yankees. I hate Ale Rodriguez. Condor, no, really, Pedro Martínez, Dominican Power, all the way up, ok? La máquina deportiva.